So, Daredevil Born Again episodes 1 and 2 have just dropped, and we're going to recap them right about now. So, yeah, you see that spoiler warning over there? We definitely gonna get into deep spoilers on this episode. So my name is JD. This is Watch Stuff with Us. I appreciate you for tuning in. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment below, and hit that notification bell so that you are notified each and every time we go live in 2025, which will be for each and every episode of Daredevil Born Again. So make sure you tune in. 7 p.m. Central Time is when we will start. That's an hour before the episode is released every Tuesday. So man, make this your home for Daredevil. You can watch the show along with us. But we're going to talk about episodes 1 and 2 real quick. And we will use this IGN video recap as a way to discuss some of the things that went down. So let's kick this off real quick.
Before we begin this review, a word of caution. Spoilers for the first 2 episodes of Disney Plus's Daredevil Born Again follow. You have been warned.
Spoilers.
Marvel Television's 2-part premiere of Daredevil Born Again starts with an all-time great superhero brawl, as if to assure fans that, yes, Daredevil is back, just like you remember.
The thing that got me with the brawl was like the knives sticking out of Daredevil, man. Like Bullseye was letting them have it. Like, and Bullseye isn't one of my villains that I'm like, oh, you know, I love Bullseye. Like, I don't really know if there's too many people out there who really just say that they love Bullseye, but like, man, yeah, he was giving it to him. He was giving it to him.
The Resurrected series is a worthy continuation of the Netflix show and picks up where Season 3 left off, essentially making this retitled series a de facto Season 4. No time is wasted as Charlie Cox's Matt Murdock is dealt a traumatic blow and faced with the unexpected return of his greatest nemesis, Wilson Fisk, once again played in a bone-chilling fashion by Vincent D'Onofrio.
I wonder if...
Yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio kills it as Wilson Fisk, man. Kills it. Like it's I can't imagine anybody else in that role at this point. That's how much he kills it. Yeah, just he does it, and he does it in a low key, like menacing type fashion, where you know that there's so much just simmering below, and you don't want the man to explode. But I can't wait to see it when we get him to explode at some point in this season 2.
your darker half would agree.
Though Born Again lacks some of the nuance of the original, and its story seems to be a retreading of some familiar ground, its new twist on the Murdoch-Fisk rivalry makes it very much a devil of a good time.
I will admit, it's not entirely unpleasant seeing you again.
Yeah, that meetup that they had was good too, just to see them knowing that they despise each other, but they're able to have a conversation that's somewhat civil with all the deep undertones there, and the hatred that was underneath the surface was good. Great acting by both of those guys.
Things start on a relatively happy note for Murdoch as he enjoys drinks with longtime friends Foggy
Yeah,
Nelson.
as soon as I saw this, I knew it was
It's a law of
somebody was
nature
going to
that
be
Matt
gone.
Murdoch cannot have sustained happiness, and it's not long before all hell breaks loose thanks to a returned Benjamin Poindexter. This is Poindexter as we know him in the comics, Bullseye, the sociopathic costume assassin who kills whatever object is within reach. Watching him go toe-to-toe with Daredevil in a knockdown, drag-out fight, employing razor-sharp knives and weaponized billiard balls feels like seeing a comic book come to life. That it's all a seamless one-shot sequence that tracks their movements through a bar and into the apartment building above makes it even more impressive.
I'm gonna have to go back at some point and rewatch that, just that fight scene, because I didn't have enough time to take it all in. But man, that was great. That was great. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and check that out.
Impressive. It is
And it was a little different, like I said during the live stream, just seeing the sort of different way that it was portrayed and filmed and shot differently from the Netflix show was a little bit different. It was kind of off-putting in the beginning, like the background looked a little fake, and like it was a little off-putting just because it was different. But after a while I settled in and I realized that they're trying to make it a little bit more comic booky as opposed to as grounded as the original series was. So I get that.
beyond sad watching Murdoch lose his best friend Foggy after all they've been through. And it's truly surprising to see Murdoch try to kill Bullseye given how he let Fisk live at the end of Season 3.
Now that was true. Like it was cold blooded when Daredevil decided to just throw Bullseye off the roof. Like he's like, you killed my guy, and just literally just tossed him off the roof. So yeah, I don't know exactly how Bullseye survived, but he did. I know we were talking about in the chat as we were watching was that it was probably Poindexter, or I'm sorry, it was probably a super soldier serum or something that he had during that surgery that allowed him to survive that fall. But he definitely survived. Went all the way to trial, was walking at the trial. So yeah, obviously there's something going on. There's something there.
Then it's a deal.
But if anything was going to push him to break his most important vow, it would be Foggy's death. The tragedy sees Murdock abandon the mantle of Daredevil and fully commit to being a benevolent lawyer who doesn't go around punching criminals at night, which makes things all the more difficult when Fisk returns not as a kingpin of crime, but as something far more dangerous.
And I mean, of course, you knew that he was going to eventually, and is eventually going to turn back into Daredevil, but somebody who's a vigilante, I can't imagine the feeling of having that sort of pressure on you at all times, knowing that you got to take care of all these people around you, the people you don't know. Then you got to also protect the people that you do know because you don't want anything to happen to them too. So I get why you would step away, but also knowing him and his character, you knew that he was eventually going to get his hands dirty, let us say.
A politician.
You're a real man of the people now.
It's this new dynamic of attorney Murdock versus Mayor Fisk that makes Born Again feel so exciting and unpredictable. The way the first episode closes with these two unstoppable forces on an inevitable collision course, epic. Normally we have to wait a while before Murdock and Fisk share the screen, but I'm glad we get right to the good stuff this time around.
I agree.
Watching these two longtime enemies have a
It was nice
civil
seeing that happen
conversation
right off
at a
top.
diner is a real treat. The tension is so high, there may as well be a stick of lit dynamite on the table. And miraculously, they don't come to blows, and instead try to see the best in one another, while also laying down some not-so-veiled threats.
You don't seem entirely convinced.
Can you blame me? Considering you've tried to kill me a few times over the years.
There might have been a time where convicted felon winning a prominent political office would seem unrealistic, but in 2025, it feels ripped from today's headlines. That said, the show sidesteps any specific real-world politics and instead focuses on exploring themes of empowering bullies and the responsibility one has to stand up to them.
By the look of it, you've come up in the world.
I could say the same about you.
While the story of the public defender Murdock taking on Mayor Fisk is fresh and juicy, other elements of the story feel a bit stale. Didn't we already do a story about Murdock wanting to give up being Daredevil in season 3 of the Netflix show? The one that's partially based on the comic arc that gives Born Again the subtitle? The details of the situation are different here, but
I was going to say the details are definitely different, and I understand why. Even if, okay, let's say that he does, he did want to step away. I got why he wanted to step away then, and I got why he wants to step away now, or wanted to step away now. I mean, he lost his best friend. Like, that would make anybody reconsider everything that they have going on. So I get why he would want to step away.
some of the bigger ideas being explored feel like a rehash. Maybe they should have just called it Daredevil Born Again again.
Yeah.
There's a real sense of satisfaction when Born Again makes it known that it's a genuine part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In the years since we last saw this version of Daredevil, he's shown up in Spider-Man No Way Home and on She-Hulk Attorney at Law. And
like I said before, we're not going to mention his appearance in She-Hulk. We're just going to act like She-Hulk never happened. What's a She-Hulk?
and Echo, where Fisk also appears, following up D'Onofrio's encore of the character in Hawkeye. Now Born Again even has Mayor Fisk making a reference to Spider-Man, something we thought was impossible only a few years ago. This may seem like a small thing to the casual viewer, but to longtime Marvel fans, it just feels good to see the Marvel Universe made whole. Curiously, even though—
I agree. I mean, the only thing that would make it better is to see both of them sort of share the screen at some point. I am 99.9999999% sure that that is not going to happen in this series, but maybe in one of the movies we'll get a Daredevil and Spider-Man team up. That would be kind of cool.
Though dealing with New York City's vigilante problem is the main plank of Mayor Fisk's platform, there's no mention of the United Nations superhero regulation laws, aka the Sokovia Accords. Murdock did mention that the laws were repealed during his guest role on the She-Hulk series, but still, one would think Fisk would use these accords as a precedent to establish his version of law and order.
Just one of those days, I guess.
The second episode of Born Again introduces us to a new vigilante called White Tiger, who began operating in the time since Murdoch retired his Daredevil persona. The story of Hector Ayala in the comics is a complex one, and the show is so far doing a good job adapting his tragic case of wrongful imprisonment.
Yeah, the whole White Tiger Hector Ayala story is pretty cool. I was not super familiar with the character. Like I vaguely remember reading some of the comics that involved him when I was younger, but wasn't too deep into the lore, into the story. I know that the actor who portrays him in the show has passed away. I guess he was sick during filming, but was able to finish the filming and did actually pass away after it was done. So rest in peace to him. But I enjoyed I enjoyed what we've seen of him already. I thought the death of the police officer and the way that was shot and the way that was showed, like that was dope. That was shot very well. And you could feel the intensity in the way that it came out. So yeah, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that aspect of it. But yeah, I can't wait to see more from him.
And hearing Murdoch chastise Ayala for going out at night looking for trouble as a vigilante is real rich. Whether he realizes it or not, handling this case is forcing Murdoch to confront some things about himself, and it coats every exchange with an extra layer of meaning.
Exactly what kind of a lawyer are you? Really good one.
Things come to a head when a pair of corrupt cops try to execute Murdoch. Cox does a phenomenal job playing the escalation of this dire situation. You can see how much it genuinely pains Murdoch knowing he's being forced to break his peaceful streak. And when he does, he absolutely explodes on those two poor guys and rips them to shreds with a horrifying savagery. This scene once again reinforces
the scene, I don't know if it was in the trailer or if they're gonna show it a little bit on here, but the scene where he takes the cop who had his partner killed and like threw him down on the ground, and like dude landed neck chest first, and like his legs like oh man, like just intense, man. That's what I was looking for, even more so than like the arm break or elbow break. Like that was bad, but seeing him being thrown down like that.
Perfect. Marvel's pledge to keep the show just as mature and violent as it was before.
That was it right there.
While the main thread about Murdoch and Fisk is strong
scream
and
at the end,
there is a noticeable lack of interesting supporting characters so far. Not a Wesley or Agent Nadeem in sight. It's hard to feel invested in Murdoch's detective friend.
I don't know if I agree with that. I like the supporting characters. I think that the supporting characters are supporting right now. We don't know a ton about them, but I feel like we got what we needed out of the first two episodes, and those first two episodes needed to focus on the people that we knew. I think they're slowly introducing the other folks in the show, and as the season goes on, they're going to play a bigger and bigger role. But yeah, as we're going now, I don't think that through two episodes we needed to have so much, context to the people who are also in the episode or also in the show, the supporting characters. I don't think we needed a ton of that, and I think what we got was enough.
Or his new lawyer partner, who seems to exist merely to provide bits of exposition. Poindexter made for such a fascinating character study in season 3, yet here he's been reduced to a one-dimensional baddie, and that's a bit of a letdown.
Am I putting the hatchet down?
I do want to see more Bullseye.
There are plenty of episodes to go for all that to be remedied, of course. A couple new faces do show some promise, such as Murdoch's new romantic interest, who happens to be Fisk's marriage therapist, and a young video.
Yeah, now that was a heck of a twist right there to see that Matt's new flame, I guess we can call her that, Heather, ends up being the marriage therapist for Vanessa and Wilson Fisk. So that was I was not expecting that. I knew that there was something going on, and I knew that somebody was going to show up there, but I was not expecting it to be Wilson and Vanessa. So that was definitely interesting. Also, the guy that wanted the book signed from her, he was a younger guy, and said that, and she ended up giving him her email address. Like, I don't know where, but he's going to come back, and that dude is creepy. Maybe that's Muse. I don't know. Might have just made a connection right there. We'll see though. We'll see. I don't know that one for a fact, but we'll see.
Journalist who interviews Fisk, not knowing he killed her uncle with his bare hands. So we'll have to wait and see how their stories develop. Regardless, Born Again feels properly nestled within the larger Marvel Cinematic Universe while still maintaining Daredevil's mature tone and fantastic lead performances. And at the onset, getting that right is what matters most.
Hell yeah. Sir.
Thank you for finding the time.
Daredevil Born Again does a bang-up job with Ol Hornhead's long-awaited return. The show captures the signature drama and brutality of Netflix's Daredevil series while taking the story of Matt Murdock
R.I.P.
and Wilson
Foggy.
Fisk in a bold and surprisingly topical new direction. It's to Marvel's credit that they set up such a gripping face-off not between Daredevil and Kingpin, but between their civilian-facing personas. But for all the new show does right, there's still a few quibbles to be had. Mainly, the lack of supporting characters who pop up in the first 2 episodes, and the fact that we are, yet again, getting a story about Murdock giving up being Daredevil. For more TV reviews, check out what we thought of Your Friend.
All right. Let me switch screens real quick. So yeah, that was definitely interesting. I would have to say that if I had to rate the episode, I would give it, or if I had to give the group of episodes a rating, it would be a 4 out of 5. I usually do 5 stars for my ratings. I would give both episodes combined together a 4 out of 5. I think that the first episode was a 3.5. The second episode was a 4.5. So let's sit right in between there at 4 total stars for that episode. So yeah, it was good. I felt like the pacing was good. I felt like the background that they gave us in the first episode was great. I feel like the story progression that we got in the second episode was great too. So man, I'm beyond excited to continue to watch this show. Make sure you continue to watch this show with us. Each and every week, every Tuesday, starting at 7 p.m., we will be on live, breaking down the episode and as a preview. And then once the episode starts airing, we will be on and discussing that episode and watching it together. So you can be a part of that. All you gotta do is hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment below. I air all the comments on the screen and talk about them with everybody too. So I appreciate you for checking this out. And I will see you when I see you. Peace.